Okay, so this is part 1 of 3 for your midterm exam review. Okay, and what we're going to do here is focus on the even numbers and their answers. Now, I understand that some of the odd numbers you might still have questions about, so we'll explore that as much as we can after we get through the even numbers. All right, so for number 2, now the first thing I need to talk about is the structure of your midterm exam. Did you notice that I have your review sheet broke up into 2 parts? Did you see that? Part 1. What did I say in all capital letters next to part 1 on page 1?
No calculator.
There are no calculators, because if I allowed you to use your calculator on the entire midterm, well, chapters 1 and 2 were done without calculators, and really would be completely pointless to put on your midterm if you were to use them. Okay, so your midterm will be broken up into 2 parts. The first part will be on yellow paper. Okay, so you'll have a yellow sheet of paper that is part 1. And that'll be approximately 10 questions that you'll have that you will complete without a calculator. All right, once you're done with that, you'll turn it in to me. You do not get that back. Okay, once you turn it in, you're done with the first 10 questions. You get out your calculator and you complete the last 40. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. So on numbers 1 through, 1 through 14, you should have done it without a calculator. All right, so number 2. One reason why I put number 2 on here is because we need to review the difference between absolute value and parentheses. This is not a double negative. Okay, this is absolute value. What is the absolute value of negative 70? 70. And then I subtract that. 40 minus 70 is negative 30. Okay? So just remember, absolute value is different from parentheses. That is not a double negative. Number 4, we need to also review order of operations. We see what operations here in number 4. We see multiplication and what? Division. Order of operations says when I have multiplication and division, I work left to right. So I'm going to go 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. Now I'm going to go back and decide, is my answer positive or negative? So I have 2 scenarios to look at. One is correct and one is wrong, or a common misconception. One option is I see 2 negatives. That's an even number of negatives, so my answer is positive. That's option 1. Option 2 is I see 3 terms. 3 is an odd number, so my answer is negative. Which one is correct? Option A, the first option. Because it does not matter how many terms I have in the expression. I count the negatives. I have 2 negatives, so my answer is positive. Look at number 6. Number 6, I have negative 2 and 4 ninths times negative 7 ninths. What is my first rule of thumb when I'm multiplying fractions? I need to make sure everything is improper. So 2 and 4 ninths, here's a common mistake that we see, which is why we're going over it now. The negative does not affect the conversion. I do not take the negative into account. I simply multiply the numbers. 2 times 9 plus 4 is what? 22 over 9. And now I bring down my negative. Unfortunately, I cannot cross-reduce anything. Right? So I just multiply it straight across, and I do want to double check that it cannot be reduced, but you can leave it improper. Okay? Any questions on 2 through 6? Number 8. On number 8, okay, is this how I divide decimals? No. Just straight across? What do I need to do? You need to put 5.6 on the outside. Yeah, 5.6 is my divisor. Now, before I can do long division, I am going to establish, is my answer positive or negative? Negative. It is negative, so I just pop that negative right up into my answer, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, what else do I have to do before I can divide? Move that decimal. Okay? Move it to the right one place, which eliminates it in both numbers. 56 goes into 238 how many times? 4. You multiply, and you get your remainder of 14. So, remainder of 14? No, what do I do now?
Add a 0. Add a decimal.
0.0. Bring it down. 56 goes into 140. 2 times 0.2. Bring that decimal up into your answer. 2 times 56 is 112. 40 minus 112 is 28. So now my remainder is 28?
No.
Okay, so how many decimal places are you supposed to go out? 3 with line division. Hopefully, prayerfully, we're done before then. Okay, but we need to keep going. So 56 does not go into 28, so what do I do?
Bring down your 0.
Bring down another 0. 280. 5 times, and thankfully that is an even remainder, so it's negative 4.25. Anybody perfect through the first 4? Is anybody perfect through the first 4? Okay. All right, so let's go on to number 10. Number 10. 4.57 as a percent is what, class?
457%.
Very good. Okay, number 12. 4/10. 4/10 is what as a decimal? I just said it. 0.4. Okay, you basically, because the denominator is a tenth, I can just put the numerator in that place value. And then converting it to a percent, which I just did, decimal to a percent, what's it going to be?
40%.
40%. All right. I got a couple vocal ones. Did you guys get that? Did you get 40% and 0.4? You with me? Okay. Number 14. Number 14. Okay. So it's important, guys, that we look at absolute value anytime we are calculating distance. A shark is 60 feet below the surface of the water, but I need to just calculate 60, okay? There's a couple different ways you can do this, all right? Even though it's 60 feet below the surface of the water, I just need to know how many units it is away from 0. So it is the absolute value of negative 60 plus the absolute value of 18. I'm considering absolute values here. I actually explained it a little different in 6th hour, but in hindsight, we need to explore this in terms of absolute value. What is the absolute value of negative 60?
60.
It is 60. And what's the absolute value of 18?
18.
Just 18. So it's 78 feet. Okay? All right, absolute values when you're calculating distance. And that should help you on those distance problems too. All right, you ready for number 16?
No.
Okay, on number 16, what do the directions say on 16? Help me out, guys. My throat's killing me. Simplify. Did it say anything about solve? No, not looking for an answer. All I'm doing is combining my like terms. So on 16, I have a fraction. Don't you love it when they throw fractions in here? Okay, and by they I mean me because I wrote it. Okay, but I'm trying to give you all possible scenarios and probably some of the more difficult ones where we see mistakes happening. All right, so what property says that I can combine these terms in any order? Commutative. That's our best friend because that says that I can rearrange these. Which term would I want to put next to 3/7x?
4/14x.
Negative 5/14x. Very good. Negative 5/14x. Why? Because they're both x terms. Plus 9 minus 12. However, can I combine these terms as they are right now?
No.
No, why not?
Because they're not like.
Because they're not like fractions. Okay? They're not like fractions. So what do I need to do to the first fraction?
You need to make it the same denominator.
Yes, what would I need to multiply that first fraction by? 2. Which makes it 6/14 minus 5/14 plus 9 minus 12. Now I'm ready to combine like terms. What is 6 minus 5? 1/14 minus, yes, x minus 3. Who got that right? Okay, that's awesome, guys. Very well done. Okay, so that's 16. All right, let's look at 18 now. Guys, please, this is about as loud as I can get. Okay, 6 minus 5x minus negative 3 minus 7.8x. Man, this one wouldn't have been bad until I put that decimal at the end, okay? Not a big deal, all right? Especially because this is in part 2, so worst comes to worst, use your calculator to check. All right, now, what do you notice immediately? What do you notice, Zach? Okay, not necessarily the double negative. Yes, because there's a negative in front of a set of numbers, the negative must change to a what? Positive. If I was you, and this is my suggestion, I will not take off on your midterm if you don't do this, but this will help you avoid making a mistake. I would rewrite this, okay? 6 minus 5x, okay? This changes to a plus, and it reverses all of the signs inside. I would rewrite it. Plus 3 plus 7.8x. And then, honestly, you could rewrite it again. What number would you want to put next to the 6? The 3. Make sure you take the sign with it. It was a positive 3 minus 5x plus 7.8x. Okay? So 6 plus 3 is 9. Negative 5 plus 7.8 is 2.8x. And I cannot combine it any further because those are not like terms. Number 20. 56a plus 21. 56a plus 21. And it says factor using the GCF. What if the GCF is in question? Or what if you're like, man, I think I know what the GCF is, but I'm not sure. What can you do? It will take you a couple seconds.
Of the number.
Which number?
The lowest.
The lowest number between the two. It's 21. Write all your factors. 1 times 21. Start with your biggest one. Does 21 go into 56? No. So 21 is out. So now you go to 2 times, 2 doesn't go into 21. 3 times 7. Does 7 go into 56?
Yes.
Yes. So 7 is my GCF. That's the number I pull out. Guys, this is the mistake that I keep seeing. 7 on the outside is a part of your answer. Stop leaving it off, okay? That's your GCF, yes, but it's a part of your answer. How do you figure out what is left inside the parentheses? Divide your original term by the term that you factored. What is 56 divided by 7? 8, and then the A is still left. What is 21 divided by 7? And it's positive 3 because 21 divided by 7 is 3. This entire expression is your answer, including the number that you factored. All right, so we've gone through the even numbers. The odds are due tomorrow for your first homework grade on your review sheets, and then we'll just keep working through it. All right, but that's everything you need to know for part 1 of our review.